Right, so to create a new project, we are going to use the Angular CLI. So if you have the CLI installed, then you can skip this step. But if you don't have that installed, then please pay attention and go through the steps. So as you can see here, to install Angular on your local system, you need the following, and the first one is node.js. Essentially, to use the package npm package manager, we need to install node.js on our system. And so to do that, head over to nodejs.org and download the long-term support version. And in this case, as you can see here, I'm on Windows, so this is the version that I'm going to download. Well, of course, I've got it already installed, so I'm not doing that. But if you don't, then please download this version. You can go for the latest one, but it's recommended for most people to use this. Once you've done that, you can then go back to the setup here and copy this. And once the -d here tells you that this the CLI will be installed globally. So again, copy this, go to your terminal and install the CLI. Once you install the Angular CLI, we can use it to create a new project. So again, ng new project name, and I think in our case, we're going to go for REST countries API. It will then ask you if you want routing, and of course you want to say we're going to use routing, so you're going to type Y for that, and then we're going to select SCSS. Right, so we are back in the terminal, and we're going to go through the steps. So ng new project name is going to be REST countries API. And here's asking if I would like to add Angular routing. Yes, we would like to do that. And the style sheet format, we're going to go for CSS. Right, so the CLI has created a project for us. We're going to cd into that directory and then open it in VS Code. REST countries API, that's the project, and we are going to open this in VS Code. Right, so we are in VS Code, and as you can see, we have the new project. We'll go through the folder structure a little bit later, but what we could do is actually run the application. You could use some shortcuts here to help you, or you can actually go through and select. You can select from the menu. Right, the shortcut that I use is Control J on Windows. I don't know if Command J works as well, but that brings up the terminal. If you want to add a new one, of course, you could use this shortcut as well. Right, so to run the Angular application, we're going to use this command ng serve, and that should run the application for us locally. Right, looks like it's compiled, so we're going to look at this in the browser. Let's come out this. Have it full screen. So yeah, here we are. We're up and running, and again, it just shows that everything works, which is great. Right, so we are back in VS Code, and I'm going to quickly go through the folder structure Just make this one slightly bigger, just to make it easier for you to see. And yeah, so just going through the folder structure, starting from the top. So here you can see the node modules. So all the packages that you add will end up in this folder. You don't need to do anything here. The only time you probably need to be here is when you're looking for an installed package, just to make sure it's there. There isn't really a reason to ever go here, not for what we're trying to do at least. And as you can see, it's grayed out because it's added to get to ignore, so this will not appear in source control. So here we're using GitHub, and we won't see this folder checked in or anything like that, so that's good. The next folder down is the source. So this is essentially where your application, everything, all the components will end up in the app folder, and any assets or any images will end up in the assets folder. We're not going to do much with environment variables, but API base URLs, some API keys. Of course, it's not safe to put keys in your code, but depending on what the keys are, you can add them, and of course add this to get ignore, which I don't really advise, but that's where you could put any environment variables. So here you have one for production and one for development. You can of course add more. And then down here again you have your index.html. This is where you put your, so here we're going in this project we are going to use Bootstrap CDN, so we will put it here somewhere. And also the Ionicons, I think we'll put some scripts down here, but we'll look at it when we get there. Main.ts, you don't need to do anything here, you don't want to touch it. There is no reason to be in here. Styles.css, this is where we'll put all the global styles. We're going to have a few, so this is where they'll live. And yeah, I think that's about it for the source folder. If we then come out of the source and look at the package.json, now this is where you can add any scripts. So again, as you can see here, we have the ngserve. That's a script that we've added. Well, we didn't add it, the framework. It was added by the framework, if you like, or the CLI to be precise. And again, if you look at the dependencies, or any package that we install will end up here in this object. Any dev dependencies, of course, will end up in this object as well. And what else do we need to know? I think for this project, we don't need to do anything with the angular.json. So I'm not going to go into it at all because there isn't actually a need for it. So that's essentially the folder structure. And once we start adding components, we could actually go through some of these. But I think for now, that is enough information. Of course, in the next video, we're going to have to delete everything that's in the app component.html, and then we'll add our own stuff.